Hi, Angela here with Splitter Splat Pre-K Co-op, and today we're going to talk about two ways that you can use your simple game board. Okay, so I have a couple of examples here, so you'll see it's the basic idea is that you have a start and then an end. You can have 12 steps, you can have 20 steps. We like to print them out on heavy cardstock and or put them in a clear plastic sleeve in order to help them last longer. So anyway, so once you print them out and then you decorate them, then the next thing to do is to actually use them. And so there's two main ways that we like to use them. One is more as a tracker, where you're tracking behaviors over the course of days, for instance, and the other is more in a classic game sense when you're tracking rounds to a game, and then when you get to the end, the game is over. So I'll talk about the first one first. For the tracker, for instance, you might want to use it if, I'll give you an example, if I'm working with my 3-year-old on buckling his own seatbelt. And so we have a goal that we want you to buckle your own seatbelt without mom and dad reminding you, all by yourself with no help, for 20 days, right? Or 20 times, or whatever that time period is. And so every time that he does this, so we'll start here. Once he does it once, you can use a dauber and you can daub it to track your progress. You could do stickers, right? You could have him X them out, right? And even write the date up top just to kind of track the progress towards your goal. And then at the very end, you might have a celebration. It's a high five, an ice cream, I don't know, whatever you want to do. But that's kind of the main way that a tracker could work. Now, I mentioned over the course of a few days. It can also work if you're practicing something that you want to kind of get repetitive practice, but kind of make a game of it. So they kind of know where they are and they don't lose track, and it doesn't feel like they're not making progress. So for instance, if they had a piano lesson or were practicing piano and wanted to do a certain phrase or a certain technique practice, a certain number of times, this could be a way to do that. 20 times is quite a bit, but there's other shorter trackers that you can use. So anyway, so that's kind of the tracker version. The game board version is basically where you have a little game piece here, right? And you might play Dice Wars, for instance. That's something we like to play. Everybody gets a dice, you roll it, whoever has the highest or the lowest, depending on how you're playing, everyone would get to move forward each round. So you would roll, move forward. And the winner, a lot of times what we like to do is we like to put fun little trinkets or candy or money, right? We'll put them on each one of these guys here so that the winner gets a special little prize every time it moves forward, right? The winner of that round. And a lot of times if we have a tie, for instance, we would take that piece for that round and we would put it at the end. And so the end gets bigger and bigger with a little pot of gold at the end. So that's kind of the main way to play. Again, you can use that for Dice Wars. You could do it with cards, high-low. You could do it with dominoes. Just really simple games. They could be multiplayer games or single-player games, right? But it's just the idea of going from the very start to the very finish after a certain number of rounds. So those are two ways that you can use these simple game cards. Some of the best games that you're going to discover are going to be with your kids and making them up on the fly. So, don't be afraid to do that as well. But this is just a place to start. All right, well, have fun.